Hey, how are you feeling? Well, I'll be damned. You okay? Surprisingly okay. Especially considering what I'm seeing. Very clearly. Good. Do you, remember your name? Of course. But... I think you know perfectly well who I am. So let's not waste time. Just tell me, how much did you find? What? How much rupidium is there? Did we get a breakthrough? Yeah, you bet. There's a lot of it. Good. That's good. Wait, how do you know? Well, isn't it obvious? I wake up seeing someone who looks and sounds like me, which has to mean we share the same DNA. Then there's the glasses. What about them? They're fake. Probably just manufactured to make me feel more like myself, but completely unnecessary otherwise, because here I am with perfectly good eyesight in the womb module, which can only lead to one conclusion: that my body was created to replicate someone who doesn't wear glasses. You. And to do that, of course, you would need to have found rupidium. Besides, I can see no other explanation for a sheep inside a space base. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, you're right. That's impressive. I did create you out of my DNA. We're not identical, of course. I can see you're not as quick to process information. And that's the interesting part. Yeah. Our bodies are the same, but our minds are not. I needed a scientist on board. But there's always a scientist on board. So, what went wrong? The old crew is gone. They're all dead. That's why I needed to alter myself into different versions. With the use of the quantum computer on board and something called mind records. Oh, I see. A recalculated mind based on an infinite amount of variables to contain the desired consciousness in a biological vessel. That actually sounds plausible. So, what do you need from me now? Why don't you rest a little? Get accustomed to the new reality? Which part of what I just said makes you think I'm not ready to start immediately? Well, in that case, Your situation must be critical considering the lengths you went to. Something tells me there's no time to lose. You're right. Why don't you start with going through the mission logs? I need to get the full picture first. My thoughts exactly. Good. This might work.
I'm also Jan, obviously. This will never not be weird. Anyway, make yourself at home.
Cheers.
Want me to take a look there?
found something peculiar on the planet. What exactly was peculiar about it? Everything. It was like a local distortion of reality. And it seemed to be emitting strong radiation. Yes. We could have expected to come across something like that sooner or later, according to reports from previous missions. Unidentified sources of radiation, unexplained electromagnetic field anomalies, distortions of matter, space, or even gravity. What are they? According to a bold theory fleshed out by Professor Frankov, they may be instances of the so-called interval. The what? Interval. In very simple terms, it's a non-coincidental superposition of potential universes. We don't know exactly why it occurs, but observations prove that under certain, not yet specified conditions, two or more parallel landscapes can coexist within a common quantum field, creating a so-called proximity plane. Yeah, it felt like something was materializing from out of nowhere right in front of my eyes. Let's keep our heads cool. It's just a theory. No one's ever proved it right. If, and I stress if, Professor Frankov's intuition is right, then the distortion you have encountered could have been a puncture point, the spot where the proximity plane intersects with our observed universe, subverting its physical balance and distorting the rules of Newtonian mechanics. We need to learn more about these peculiarities. Inform me at once if you come across another one. About time. I'm in some deep shit here.
So you're not at your destination yet?
I'm stuck. We're stuck. There's a freaking lava river blocking our way.
Do you think you can cross it?
I don't know. Still working on it. Anyway, you can help me?
I can try. I have a limited view of the surface of your planet, but there is one thing you could do.
What's that?
You have a lot of very useful tech on board that base. It's designed to overcome practically any obstacle. All you need is a properly trained crew, if you know what I mean.
More altars. Is that all you have for me?
Man, you still don't get it, do you? That's a lot. If it helps, I have some news for you. Good news and, well, just news.
Hit me with the good news first.
A rescue party is being organized.
Organized. You mean they're not on their way yet? What the hell are you waiting for?
Mr. Dosky, please, calm down. No matter how long the procession, it will always end up in church.
What?
Just the thing my grandma used to say when I was a kid and tired of doing my homework.
Except this is not about your homework.
Sure. But you gotta understand, your mission got dispatched pretty far away. We still haven't mastered teleporting.
How long do you think it'll take them to get organized?
All I can say is, they know it's an emergency.
Wow. That long?
Don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm really trying to help.
So, what's the other news?
Well, I know you have a lot on your plate right now, but there's a request from my boss directly. Before we get you out of there, we want you to retrieve as much rupidium as possible.
Huh. Figures. They don't want to lose their chance. Probably worthless to your higher-ups without rupidium anyway.
It's sure gonna give your rescue mission wings, if that's your kind of incentive.
Of course.
My boss will want to speak to you shortly. and you'll see how important it is. He's not some kind of empty three-piece suit if that's what you're afraid of.
I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but it was his idea to, you know, let you in on the branching procedure. By the way, is your altar doing any better?
Yeah, we're getting along pretty well now. Thanks.
That's very good to hear.
Is this about you wanting to talk to him again?
No. No, none of that. My boss put it out of my mind. Best not to mess things up even more.
So, you admit it's a mess.
What? No, we just... You know what? I'm not commenting on that. Talk to my boss about it.
What's gonna happen to my altars back on Earth?
I don't know. I'm sure my boss will think of something. He always knows what to do.
You either really trust him or you're very good at not saying anything.
Maybe both? I'm, not a natural talker.
Ever tried working on it? You know, with a professional?
Not really. But my sister wanted to be a therapist and she practiced on me when I was 5.
Oh? And how did that go?
She turned to breeding hamsters. I hope you're not laughing.
Your family seems interesting. Got any more stories about them?
It's a big family. Brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles. Yours?
I was the only child.
Wow. Can't imagine how that feels. Anyway, no time to talk about families now, right?
Tell me more about this boss of yours. You mention him a lot.
He's the head of mining operations. Great mind, very open. You'll see. Doesn't normally do this, you know. Talk to people on space missions in person.
Oh, I feel so blessed.
You should. He saved your life, in a way.
Okay. I better get back to work then.
Yes. Just remember about the Rapidium, Mr. Dalsky. And wait for contact from my boss.
Hey man, you're clearly angry. Meaningless small talk will only make me more angry.
So maybe we can talk about something meaningful. What calms you down?
Punching that smirk of yours would definitely do the trick. But if you really need to know, walking it off, I guess.
Maybe you should punch me. Why not? Let it all out.
You don't want that. Trust me. But I appreciate the offer.
Never thought I'd be so glad to see a ship. So, how are you? Settling in all right? Settling in is overrated. I analyze reality from wherever I am, however uncomfortable the angle. There's always an observation to be made. I'd love to hear what you managed to observe. This place is not run optimally. What can I say? I'm running this base according to Ally Corp protocol. Not my fault they haven't thought of everything. Sure, blame it on the higher-ups. I guess I should be glad the word protocol is part of your vocabulary. Truth is, I really wish we could make use of the tech I worked on for all these imaginary years. It would make things so much easier if it existed. So what exactly was your research about? Nanotech in space exploration. We went from a humble startup to making headlines in a few months. Taking our solutions to the front line was my dream come true. The data we could bring back. You had big plans for it. Well, now it's all gone. Yeah, I understand how lousy that must feel. Honestly, I don't think you do. But I hope we're not going to sit around crying about it. There's work to be done, here and now. That's true. Well, let's get to it then. If we don't get the base moving soon, give to us. And believe me, this tin can will offer.
So, an enriched metals outpost, huh? A bit risky.
Jan Dolsky. Finally. I've been impatient to meet you.
Yeah, sure. You that big fish Lucas was mumbling about?
Terrence Maxwell. But yes, I am both his and your superior at mining operations. First of all, my heartfelt condolences. Losing the whole crew must have been hard on you.
Yeah. I still can't get over it.
Their families have been informed. They're grief-stricken, as you can imagine. But the deaths of their loved ones will go down in history as part of a pioneering discovery. Your discovery.
So, do people know I found Rapidium?
We're keeping the news within a very limited circle. It's only wise for the time being.
Of course. Yeah. No reason to get everyone hyped up. Might still fail.
I can see you're a grown man, Jan. And you understand the stakes. I don't want to put pressure on you, but... failure is not an option.
That's why you had me create my altars? You'd rather let me lose my mind than lose the Rapidium?
It was a long shot, I admit. But we were saving both. Rapidium and you, Jan. Do you think it was a mistake?
I have mixed feelings. Sure, it's better to be alive, but I feel like a line's been crossed.
You certainly have a chance to experience something extraordinary. Many people would envy you.
Let's just get one thing straight, Maxwell. I know you expect things of me, but I'm no hero.
Heroism. Are you familiar with the works of Albert Camus?
Albert who?
A great writer and philosopher. Camus believed heroism was easy, accessible. For him, it was living a normal man's life that was a true challenge. Being decent. Doing the right thing. You are the first person to prove that we can actually excavate Rapidium in quantities that can really make a difference. A dream the biggest corporations have been chasing for over a decade now. Constantly failing. You say you're not a hero? Well, maybe I don't need you to be one. Maybe you should just carry on being a decent man, Jan Dolsky.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. Thanks.
Of course, I would lie to you if I said your work is done. You've probably noticed how different Rapidium looks in reality than on the training materials they showed you.
Why is that?
It changes form constantly. Its chemical structure is so volatile that it is almost impossible to capture two particles in the same state. A fleeting substance. Spectacular. But also very unstable.
How come it works then?
Not enough tests were run to explain that. The only sample ever found in space was researched inside a mobile base like your own, but it never made it back to Earth. It lasted long enough to demonstrate its amazing qualities, only to disintegrate somewhere between the Copernicus and the Hyades cluster.
So, you're afraid the Rapidium I found might not withstand the journey?
I know it won't. That's why we came up with a special container for it. An Ark.
You mean like a box?
A hermetic module dedicated specifically to storing and transporting Rapidium. We have blueprints for it. Lucas should send the necessary data over to you by the time we finish talking. Constructing a Rapidium Arc should be your primary focus now.
Sounds like a big task. I should get to it straight away.
It is a big task, Jan, but it's worth every effort. I hope you realize the gravity of the moment.
I thought you said you didn't want to put pressure on me.
You're right. Lucas said you had questions. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Do you know what happened to my crew?
Lucas showed me the records. I have a theory, but it's more of a hunch. I don't have any hard proof to support it.
What is it?
Well, I think it might have been the quantum processing unit that killed them.
What? But that's... No, that's crazy.
Do you read detective stories, Jan? The culprit always needs to have two things. A motive and a means. Well, it certainly had a means to do it.
But why?
Like I said, it's just a hunch. I'm afraid I won't have much more time for now, Jan. Do you have any other questions?
What will happen to my alters when we get back?
I don't know. Yet. I don't need to tell you this is unprecedented. There are no good practices here, but I know one thing. You can trust me and Lucas completely. But if anyone else contacts you, it's absolutely vital you don't tell them anything about the existence of the alters.
What? Why?
You know very well why, Jan. The law has been violated.
I thought Lucas said the branching was authorized.
You haven't been listening. There are no procedures for this sort of situation. There is no one who can officially authorize such an act. At the end of the day, it was your decision to branch yourself. It will be in your best interest to keep that in mind when considering the consequences.
I don't like the sound of this.
And we will come back to it later, I'm sure. Right now, I'll have to leave you shortly. Is there anything else?
The branching procedure. There's a story there. Tell me.
It is something that has been tested long ago within Ally Corp. But for completely different reasons and, as you can imagine, in a much more rudimentary fashion.
Altering mind records? For whom?
I'm sorry, Jan. It's highly classified and I already told you too much. I think you deserve answers, but regarding this matter, like I said, things were tested just for a while. Not much came of it. Now, I'd love to keep on chatting, but I really will need to be ending this call soon. Do you have any more questions?
No. I'm good.
Rapidium Arc, Jan. That's what you should focus on right now. Your secret is safe with me and Lucas. Once you come back with a remedy for Earth's ailments, nobody will think of punishing you for how you got it. Remember, just do the right thing. Now, I really have to go, but it was a pleasure talking to you, and we will talk more, I promise. Until then.
Man, I'm telling you, we need it.
And I'm telling you this is the least important of our priorities. Right.
Want me to take a look there?
Hey there, buddy. How do you feel? Oh, been better, that's for sure. Oh, what is this place? And shit. Who are you? Don't worry, not an illusion. There's a perfectly rational explanation to this. Just let me ask you some control questions first, okay?
Sure. Fire away.
Do you remember your name?
Yeah. Jan. Dolsky.
And what's your role on this mission?
I'm a refinery operator.
Oh, you look like me, but also not like me. Are we brothers or something? We're much more than that, genetically speaking. We're the same person.
Genetically speaking. Whatever you're trying to tell me, stop beating around the bush, okay?
All right then. You're my alter. I created you with the use of rupidium.
Rupidium?
Yeah, we did it. It's here.
Wow. You hear that, Ben?
Ben? What Ben?
Huh? Oh, never mind. Hey, wait. What was that you said about creating me?
Look, you've obviously still not recovered from the shock. Why don't you rest a little and read the mission logs? They'll put it in perspective. We can talk more when the meds wear off.
The meds. Yeah, that explains a lot. Not everything, but I feel like there's something more to this feeling of being so light, weak, you know?
Just relax and take it slow. You'll feel stronger in no time.
Okay, yeah. Maybe. And hell, I can't wait to see rupidium.
You will soon. I promise.
discuss. Let's meet.
So, did you find a solution to our problem? Yes. It's super simple. We'll build a bridge. Oh, just like that? Well, it can't be a regular bridge, of course. We don't have the time nor the manpower to accomplish that. However, there is a certain technology that came to my mind, superconductive bridge anchors. They could allow us to quickly span a light but durable construction across our obstacle. Wow, great. Sounds exciting. Yes, but... Oh, here we go. Cut out the sarcasm. It's not my fault this excursion was prepared by a dilettante. Blueprints for the anchors should be standard equipage for every mission since Project Versant went live, but not on this one. They should fire the logistician, if there ever was one. Stop moaning, will you? Just tell me what to do. You're right. Let's act. You are in touch with mining operations, right? Yeah, I am. Why? Next time you talk to someone from mining ops, tell them to send over the anchor blueprints from Versant. Once we have them, things will go back to super simple. You'll see. All right, will do.
Me to do this? There's so much stuff you need to take on exploration. Batteries, drills, detectors. All that preparation must feel like a second job.
Not getting any connection from mining ops. Any idea how I can ask them for those blueprints? Didn't they push you to mine rubidium? Report getting the job done, and someone will turn up. Trust me, I know how this company works. Okay, thanks.